listening to 102.9 WFPRLP, Franklin Public Radio.
Time being approximately 7:30, the Franklin Zoning Board of Appeals will come to order. Meeting is being held in the Town Council Chambers, second floor of the Municipal Building, 355 East Central Street, and online via Zoom platform. This meeting is being recorded and televised. The listing of which matters are those reasonably anticipated by which the chair may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up to the discussion to the extent permitted by law. This meeting will be held via the Zoom platform. Please log in at zoom.us//959-1723-7210. You may also join the meeting on your smartphone by calling 1-929-205-6099. For those looking to view the Zoom meeting, view the meeting, it can be viewed live at this time on Comcast 9 or Verizon 29. It's also streaming directly from Franklin TV's website. Visit franklin.tv and just click on the Town Hall TV channel. Time being approximately 7:30.
Parcels 270-28, 038, and 39 West Central Street and Panther Way. Applicant is seeking to conduct an earth removal in excess of 1,000 cubic yards. The building permit is denied without a special permit from the ZBA.
Okay, we're in receipt of an email from Camford Property Group. We would like an extension for our meeting with the ZBA on 4/24 to be moved to 6/5, the June 5th meeting. We want to get a little further down the road with the planning board before we come back. Any questions, please let me know. Thank you for your help. Brad Chafee from Camford Property Group. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion to grant the extension for 39 West Central Street to June 5th at what time?
7:30? 7:30.
7:30.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, none. Time being approximately 7:35.
33 Elm Street, G. David Iverson, trustee. Applicant is seeking to construct a single-family home that is 123.92 feet of frontage where 200 is required, with the right side yard setback of 26.5 feet where 40 feet is required. The building permit is denied without a variance from the ZBA.
Applicant present?
Edward Cannon on behalf of the applicant.
Okay.
Couldn't make it, Mr. Chairman.
Just had to catch up a little bit.
Sure.
Any abutters for, okay, thank you. Go ahead.
I'm here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the last time we appeared, the board had asked the applicant to revise the proposed plan to eliminate the request for side yard variance, which the applicant has done. And if I may, Mr. Chairman, figure this out, I do have the plan I can share. I was hoping to share the plan if I could, but, do you know how to bring it up on a flash drive? Any idea?
Yeah, that open devices might do it.
There you go, moving now, I think. I don't know whether they're for something, I don't know. They might be. I don't really know. Not much. Oh, that is the town's computer. But you think when you'd open it up, it would open right up? You think you open it up, it would come right down to it? That makes sense. Yeah. It's too much. Too much sense. They get it.
You might be able to use the Edge browser on the top there. That way you can do it with Firefox.
Well, he's getting it off the flash drive, so wouldn't that just open it up?
It needs something open to read the PDF. So the browsers can typically read that.
There we go. What do you know?
All right.
All up.
Okay, thank you for your patience. So, essentially, the lot would require a variance for the length of the frontage. Of the 3 lots that were created back in 1959, this lot does have the most frontage. And with the redesign of the house on this side here, it had been closer than 40 feet. It's a 40-foot setback. It's now been redesigned to eliminate that. So the applicant no longer needs relief for the side setback. So it's in full compliance now. The only issue is the shortage on the frontage. There were also discussions, I know some of the neighbors had raised concerns about blasting, and the applicant has no intention to blast. If that's going to be needed, the applicant is going to hammer, and is fine with having that as a condition if it need be. You know, part of, I know some of the neighbors were concerned with drainage and water, and the applicant's very aware of that, and actually believes that with the drainage that would be involved here, that it would actually improve what's going on out there now. So, you know, based on all the information last time and the revision here, the applicant would respectfully request a grant of the variance for the relief from the frontage requirement.
Okay, just so we're clear, the only thing you changed was the setback?
It's the side setback, correct? Yeah.
Is that it for your presentation?
Yes.
Okay. Any butters want to speak?
Actually, yeah. So,
Oh, hang
what
on,
I see,
hang on.
there is,
Hang on a minute, we're gonna,
Okay.
there's somebody in the audience here. We'll get to Zoom in a minute. Just identify yourself.
Yes, Andrew Rubenstein. I'm one of the owners of 31 Elm Street.
Okay.
Yes, I appreciate Attorney Cannon did send along somebody that had mentioned that it would, that they would be chipping instead of blasting. It still troubles me that there is, basically this lot is 1/3 short the required width of the property, frontage of the property. And to an earlier point that was made at the last meeting was that, well, the other two houses, my neighbor, who's actually online, and my house, were also built under the same standards. It did appear, I did some research, and it did appear that those were coordinated with the rights of the prior owner that was actually the father of the abutter through an LLC, but there is no connection. So those houses were built theoretically using those rights. And I do find it just troublesome that we're going to add just another house to that area. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I think, Attorney Cannon, we decided that, or you agreed that these lots weren't looking for anything because they're not considered a grandfathered lot, correct?
That's correct.
They're just looking for
the variance, right. Yeah, we did explore that option initially, and the building commission was extremely helpful. We sat down and went through the history together, and yeah, it does not, it's not grandfathered.
Okay.
But neither were the other lots at the time.
No, I
when
understand
they were
that.
built. Yep.
They were fortunate.
Correct.
You know, this one not so much. Who's ever on Zoom, can you just please identify yourself for the record?
Yeah, this is me. I'm Kinsey Ditmore. I live at 35 Elm Street.
Okay.
Actually, Dave Iverson built my house for me back in 1989. But I'm seeing there's one other thing that's on here is a proposed retaining wall to be designed and certified by others. Now, that retaining wall looks like it's positioned perfectly to redirect all the runoff water back into my yard. You guys have the proposed plot plan?
No, we have a plan right in front of us.
Okay, right. So you can see there's a square in front of the proposed house that says proposed retaining wall to be designed and certified by others. And where that retaining wall is located would basically be to divert all the runoff water back into my yard.
I think it's opposite.
Well, I can't tell from the plan that they got here, because the only elevations they show is on this lot and where it goes.
To the left of the house.
Yeah, to the left of the house. I mean, you got some lighter ones, you got some darker ones that are gonna be the developed elevations, and then you got the other one. I mean, that wall, you can consider both ways. It's either keeping the water away from your property onto this property, or, you know, I can see maybe a concern where you got it coming down off the hill. Whatever it catches behind here is gonna just get directed probably over the lot line to your property. I don't see any,
Back into my yard, yes.
yeah, I don't see any pipes or proposed drainage there or anything else like that. So. Anything else? Okay. Thank you. I'll go to the board. Joe, you're not voting on this, right?
That's right.
Yeah, okay. I'm activating Associate Joe Halligan because we need him to make a quorum of 3.
Okay, in my opinion, looking at this plan, I believe the retaining wall, they're not gonna bring fill in and add a higher lot or a retaining wall. I would imagine they're gonna dig down into the hill. So the retaining wall would actually retain water from going to the adjacent property. There'd be no reason for a retaining wall unless they're gonna bring fill in, and I don't think that's the case. The last conversation was you'll be chipping and taking stuff out of anything. So the retaining wall, this will actually make the two lots on both sides less likely to get water. It would pool into the middle, like all down into the middle. As far as the product itself, I look at this a little differently than most. It's just my opinion. I'm one person on the board. I did some extensive studying on this. Yes, in the 50s, this was zoned for 3 lots, all in common ownership. And I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, sometime in the mid-60s, the zoning changed from 100-foot frontage
1960, yeah, exactly.
to 200.
Right.
And that's all well and good. That's the way it should have been. However, I believe in the late 80s, 90s, the town of Franklin granted building permits for the 2 adjacent parcels, one on the left, one on the right. Had this situation been caught when those building permits were being pulled, we wouldn't be here today, because this would have been just one nice buildable lot. There wouldn't have even been enough for 2. However, in my opinion, by the town allowing these homes to be built with 100 feet frontage on the left and right side, the town basically made this lot not buildable for life. The applicant didn't do that. The town issued building permits and made this lot unbuildable, which I'm under the impression that the owners have continued to pay tax on for years. They rendered it a useless lot. Had they even said, you know what, back then, let's give it a variance, we'll split it for 2 lots, we wouldn't be here today. But by the town giving a permit for both sides, we rendered this lot useless, which is a real burden and a hardship on the owner. Outside of that, listening to people around town, social media, the news, there's a lot of people that are in support for single-family homes to be built in Franklin. That's the big word right now. Why can't we see single-family homes built and give someone a chance to live in Franklin? Home ownership, that's another big word you hear on social media and all the sites. Today's day and age, I don't think a lot of people need 200 feet of frontage to put a home on. This home sits perfectly on that lot. It matches the character of the neighborhood. Its frontage exceeds all existing lots surrounding it. I would not be in favor of this had this not at one time in its life been a legal lot. So I'm not trying to set precedents for someone to come in here in a basic neighborhood where forever they've been 150, 200-foot frontages, and now someone says, well, I got 100 feet, I want a lot too. There's no history of that lot that it was once a buildable lot. This has history. Unfortunately, somehow 2 building permits were issued and rendered this lot useless. I believe this is it fits in with the character of the neighborhood. At one time in its life was a legal lot. Some people, and a lot of people, aren't really up to date on zoning changes, and especially back then, there wasn't social media, there wasn't these, the Observer and news about zoning changes and people getting educated quickly. This person probably went their whole life thinking those are 3 lots and it just got forgotten about. With that said, I would be in favor of seeing this as a single lot, buildable lot to match the character of the neighborhood. Again, one man, one opinion. Thank you.
Archie, any comments?
I have a question about the landscape easement I see on here for number 31 Elm Street. What is the landscape easement?
That is something that the applicant had been in touch with Mr. Rubenstein. There's some improvements there at number 31, and the proposal is, assuming this could go forward, it would be to grant an easement to Mr. Rubenstein to be able to continue to use that area.
Okay. And what you had mentioned that you were going to do some work to help with the drainage. What is it that you're proposing to do here that might help with the drainage on this lot?
Well, Mr. Halligan did a better job than I of explaining it, but it's to funnel it towards the center of the lot, towards the front of the lot. That's why the house is situated back, is to then grade it and then have it go towards the front of the lot.
House gonna be on stilts with water gonna go underneath it?
No.
Well, the house is in the center of the lot. If you're gonna grade everything towards the center of the lot, it's gotta go somewhere.
To the front, yes, exactly. Yep.
So you don't plan on doing any type of like Coltech system or anything to mitigate the water to help the drainage that's going to be on that lot, or that's going to shed water onto the neighbor?
It's not shown on the plan, but the applicant would certainly be willing to have that conversation with the building commissioner, I think, to make sure when they walk the site, and to make sure that there's appropriate drainage.
Well, it is actually shown on the lot. There's a 6-inch foundation drain that goes to daylight. That means it dumps out into the air. It dumps out right towards the abutter's land. Now, I don't know. You know, there's a piece of ledge there on that side of the property. Don't know how they're gonna get a pipe from there to there, unless they're gonna take out all that ledge down that far. But I was just there the other day. I mean, it's pretty used up site. There's a big hunk of ledge sticking out of it on the right-hand side, looking at it from the street. And the other side has like a water pit where there could be tadpoles or spotted frogs or whatever's in there, you know, when the time comes. But and I can see why, because everything drains. It's a pretty steep hill behind it, and it all drains down to that. I'm sorry, Archie, go ahead.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
So my concern is the drainage, the neighbors.
Well, it's not a Coltex. It just dumps out, see, it says to open air. You know, so that's what they do. Actually, if they put in a Caltech system, they might be able to save something on their, what do they call it, the bill that we get now.
Isn't there something about roof, on new homes now, you have to put roof drains and stuff?
Well,
Isn't
no,
there
they
some
want,
kind
if
of
you put it
control?
in, you get a discount on your
Okay.
stormwater management, or whatever, yeah. But anyway,
Sure,
Megan, any
it's
questions or
susceptible to
comments?
roof drains.
You saw, I'm sorry, you done?
Well, I guess my question is to the building commissioner. How do you, I mean, you know, he's got the land for a buildable lot here, let's say, right? Let's say we deem it buildable. How do you, as the building commissioner, deem that lot buildable? Is there anything that you do to go, to say, there's too much water here, you know, you can't build this?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, Gus Brown, Building Commissioner. To answer your question, Archie, most of the lots that we deal with don't have challenges like this. So I would ask the proponent, if I was the board, and get it into the decision, that get an engineer out there, they've already used Gary and Howman, to dig a little bit deeper into this so that they satisfy me with the drainage. I think the neighbors have spoken about what they're concerned about, and Mr. Halligan also said that the way it's the elevation and the topography of the lot is, it may very well dump into the center of the lot. And I think that's something that G&H, who's done the initial topography and layout of this lot with this house on it, needs to do.
Have they done a wetland study? You know, like have certified, I mean, I know when I subdivided my property, I had to have someone come out and mark off, check for wetlands, and then mark it off and build around it. Has that been done here?
Not to my knowledge.
I mean, I understand the need for the housing. I'm not opposed to putting a smaller house in here, but I'm opposed to the water being shed off onto the neighbor's property and being a hardship for them down the road. I think whatever we can do, if, you know, if we're, as a board, if we want, maybe impose something with the engineer that meets the building commissioner's needs.
Condition of the design.
Be happy to do that.
I mean, I'm only one of three that vote on this, so.
Yeah, I agree. I think having a solution for an engineered water solution for this would make a lot of sense.
Well, just before you take the time and effort to go through all that, I'll just tell you where I stand on this. I've been on the board a long time, and since probably the last 20 years, I don't think we've approved one of these lots that didn't have frontage requirements. You know, there might have been a reason, maybe you didn't have the square footage, or you might have needed some sideline relief to set the house in, but we haven't granted any that I can recall. We had some person came to us twice in the last 4 or 5 years, and fortunately, because they used Gary and Hallen, the person who was there working with them actually dug up all the paperwork, and they actually proved that it was a pre-existing non-conforming lot that wasn't owned in common ownership from the time they changed. But it was in the same vicinity, kind of. And, you know, and I know that everything, because Skyline Estates is across the street there, and that all changed from 100-foot lots to 200-foot, 200 by 200. They're probably 100 by 125 or 100 by 100, and now they got a zoning. So everything that anybody does up there, they need relief, some kind, either a special permit to remodel or setback variance and stuff like that. You know, Archie brought it up about the drainage. Yeah, I see a retaining wall there, but it looks to me like it's actually curved in, so to me, it would catch some of the water that's coming down the sidelines more than it does now. Now it just probably goes in that lot and goes in a hole in the front. So if the water's gonna shed off of that hill, it's gonna go behind that wall and then impact the abutter on the left. According to the plan here, there's an open pipe, a pipe that comes to daylight out of the basement, because they're anticipating having water in the basement there already before they even build, because it's probably gonna be set on ledge. So that pipe comes right out to daylight, right at the, right by the lot line, or by that easement, landscape easement or whatever, but, you know, and it may impact the neighbor or not, I don't know, I'm not sure he knows. I'm not sure that they can even get that pipe in there, because they're swinging the driveway to the left. But this side on the right-hand side's got a big outcropping of ledge there, so I'm not sure that they're ever gonna be able to put a pipe in there unless they did a lot of extensive excavating work to get a pipe in, for a 6-inch pipe to drain water, so.
I would say if the board is inclined, as far as the lot goes, but concerned about drainage, I would certainly go back to the applicant and ask him to have the engineer provide data either to the building commissioner or continue this and provide it to satisfy this board that the drainage would be satisfactorily addressed. In terms of the commissioner's, the chairman's concern that, you know, these haven't traditionally been granted, and that's what I mentioned last time. I understand that completely. But times are changing. Mr. Halligan referenced the need for single-family homes. And, you know, they did provide last time that, for the governor's housing plan, the first item on her agenda is to make multifamily housing allowable by right. So it's coming, and I just thought that in this particular instance, given the history of the lot, given that it's just a single-family house, that it would be appropriate in this instance for the relief requested. But we certainly want to do it in a way that you know, doesn't cause drainage problems. You can't do it. You can't just drain onto someone else's property. So if that's a concern, if the board otherwise feels like it may qualify for the variance, I certainly would recommend to the applicant to provide the data from the engineer that would satisfy the board.
Well, I guess it's up to us. You know my feeling on this. It's what we've done in the past, you know, I'd like to be consistent in how I vote, so.
So with that being said,
Well, with anything, I'll entertain any motions that somebody wants to make. We can either motion to close the hearing, you can make a motion to send the applicant away to come back with something. I don't know how they're gonna take care of the shortage of the frontage. You know what I mean? They can take care of drainage, but have you been by there?
yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty nasty looking lot to begin with, you know, but,
So you'll deny it based on the frontage?
well, I mean, if I stay consistent to my beliefs and what we've done in the past 20 years, yeah.
Would the chair be possibly interested where times are changing? There aren't too many of these lots left that ever come forward. If they were to come back with an engineered plan to prove to us they could hold the drainage, would that somehow weigh in a positive manner?
Listen, they can bring it back, but I mean, they're gonna have to appease the, you got two abutters that have been here saying they're worried about drainage on the side. You know, it's not really up my call. I could say it, and then if it's flood over, then it would be, wow, he approved it based upon a plan the engineer drew up that, you know, it didn't work. You know, I'm not so sure how we guarantee that anything works, you know? You see a lot of things that go on that they don't actually do things like they're supposed to do. Or the slope of the driveway is a little bit too much, and the water's running down on the road and everything else, you know. I agree, there's some nice there's some nice houses that have been built in there, you know, there's a couple of big ones right after that up on the hillside, but then again, you know, I don't know if that's gonna work out like that, you know, but.
It may not be cost effective, but what if they were to entertain having something engineered and hire a peer review like other projects have done to ensure that the drainage is done correctly to the plan? They go that extra step, not just put it on a plan and it's not done correctly. There'll actually be a peer review company, whether it's Beta Group or not, to go out there, look at this, and guarantee that that's basically, now you got the engineer they're gonna hire, and you got Beta Group that's got, on their dime, they pay the money to the board, similar to other projects. But again, if we can't get past the frontage, there's no need to spend the time.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
All right?
So I guess we should make the motion to push forward what you had just mentioned about.
I'll make a motion to approve, subject to engineering for drainage be done and calculated by a licensed engineer, and to have a peer review visit the site and guarantee what's being proposed will get built to protect the neighbors.
To be reviewed by the building commissioner as well.
Well, that's what I've done, just the building permit is on top of that.
Just, can I interrupt you for a minute? You know, if you were gonna do something like that, I'd rather do it beforehand than after. You know, to make sure that it's gonna work, that somebody can get it to work, you know, and then have the peer review in place, because after it's done, it's a buildable lot. Whether it works or not, they can just say, hey, you know, I'm not even sure that the owner's gonna have anything to do with building this, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so they're gonna sell the lot off to somebody else who may not be as
I'll withdraw my motion
amiable.
and allow them to do that homework first and come back and present it to us. and have their peer review here to explain to us if that's a minute.
That would be great to have that opportunity.
Well, if you want to take the chance at it, go ahead.
Yeah.
Knock yourselves out, you know, when do you think you can have that done by?
Probably start with 30 days, you know, at least we can get it
Well,
on the calendar.
June 5th will be the next meeting that you could probably get on. That's,
Yeah.
it's over 30 days.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hopefully
Maybe
that-
Gary Ann, it looks like they've been there 3 times already, so they got the plan and the 2 revisions, but.
Yeah, they should be familiar with it.
Yeah,
Should
I
be able
mean,
to
you know,
address
you
it.
just mentioned to them, the other thing is that they're gonna have a retaining wall there to make sure that they're collecting the water that's behind the wall, you know, and that the other pipe that they got in here has gotta go into some subsurface, stormwater runoff, you know, but I don't know what that's gonna do to the price of the lot, but unless you wanted to, attempt to, get with Habitat for Humanity or something, maybe if they could come and put a house up there, it would be, you know, something affordable, but, you know.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they would.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Invest in
You
the
know, I
drainage
don't know.
infrastructure that would be necessary,
Yeah.
but we certainly appreciate the board's willingness to consider. I know, again, traditionally, this is a difficult ask, so if we have the ability to come back with some drainage to show that we could actually improve, because the neighbors are experiencing water now without anything, so they're having a problem now. If we could show that we
No,
can
I
make
know,
that.
I'm usually the first one that brings that up when they say they got problems next door. Well, then you just blew it because you told us you already got a problem. How are you gonna prove it's any worse?
So if we
I
can,
can see where there's a potential problem here, especially with an open pipe coming out on the ground.
yeah, if we can have the engineers do the homework and demonstrate that it will improve, would like to have that opportunity. So that would be a welcome opportunity.
All right, if somebody wants to make a motion, we can continue this till June 5th, 7:35. Motion made and seconded.
Aye.
Did you second it?
Second?
Second. Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, none.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Have a good evening.
All right, time being approximately 7:40.
495 Pleasant Street, Megan Mary Tucker. Applicant is seeking to construct a 12-foot by 24-foot attached garage that is 12.4 feet from the left side yard setback where 25 feet is required. The building permit is denied without a variance from the ZBA.
Applicant present? Online?
On Zoom, yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Okay, you want to identify yourself for the record, please?
Megan Tucker, 495 Pleasant Street.
No? She's out? No, you're back. Okay. Any butters for Pleasant Street? Seeing none. Go ahead, Megan. You want to tell us what you want to do?
I don't know if you can hear me. I lost my audio. I'm going to try calling in.
No, I can hear you now. You were scratching before,
I lost.
and then you froze up. You sound okay now.
I don't think she can hear us.
I don't know. And then she's froze again. How do we take calls? You getting a call, Amy? I mean, Casey?
Name's up.
Huh?
Give her cell phone. Want to fix that, Meg?
Hmm?
Should be on. Tech.
No, yeah, but I mean, I don't know what she's gonna call in, but I don't know if they can call in. How would you like to call in? I think
Should
I-
call right into the Zoom.
I would think so.
Yeah,
You see anything on Zoom where somebody's calling in?
should show up as a phone number like to admit them into the log.
Yeah, I mean, we got a couple of, we've been doing this for 5 years, we never had this much problem in one night as we've had tonight, out of practice. On the bottom of what? Yeah, Yeah, I don't know. See anything new on there, Casey?
Not yet.
She got your personal number?
She was on, and then she was disconnected.
Yeah, let's, we'll make a motion that we continue this until after the next hearing, and we'll just get caught up a little bit.
So moved.
Motion made and seconded, any discussion, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, what's next? Read the next one. Yeah, time being approximately 7:40. 45, okay.
447 East Central Street, Love is Life Veterinary Clinic.
Oh,
Applicant
there's a
is
form coming in then.
seeking to,
No, keep going.
okay. Applicant is seeking to operate a nonprofit spay and neuter clinic and a referral surgical center. The use is denied without a special permit from the ZBA.
Through the chair, I'll be recusing myself.
Okay, yep. Applicants present?
Yes.
Any abutters? 3 Central Street. 447, not 444. Okay, who's gonna make the presentation?
I'll start.
Okay,
Hi, my name is April Paul. I'm a board-certified veterinarian with about 25 years of experience in surgery and education.
look like you just got out of high school.
I am also a 15-year resident of Franklin. I purchased my home on Tyson Road in 2012 and have been an active member in the community since then. I am also the president and veterinarian of Love is Life Veterinary Clinic, a low-cost surgical veterinary clinic that we are aiming to base here at 447 East Central Street. Love is Life Veterinary Clinic is a nonprofit, low-cost clinic that provides predominantly surgical and dental veterinary services to the underserved pets and owners of central New England for whom surgical care is the only treatment option. Our goals are to provide high-quality care to underserved clients and patients, prevent animals from being surrendered to shelters due to lack of owner resources, and prevent economic euthanasia. To promote animal welfare in our community, we will do the following: collaborate with local veterinary hospitals, rescues, and shelters to assist with surgical and dental intervention that cannot be afforded by clients at regular veterinary clinics. We will also assist shelters and rescues in their efforts to keep the homeless pet population down. We became a 501c3 nonprofit organization in 2024 and have been taking the necessary time to be diligent in determining a location for our clinic. As a resident of Franklin and working in the industry, I have firsthand knowledge that the Norfolk County area is lacking low-cost veterinary services. Given Franklin's central location to major highways, referral veterinary clinics, and community resources for humans, it is at the top of our list for our clinic site. From March 2020 to March 2024, veterinary service costs have jumped 32% according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Price Index. This large increase in the industry has left pet owners having to make the difficult decision of how they will afford veterinary care, especially in the face of surgical intervention, which can sometimes cost up to $10,000. This astronomical charge can set a family back months to years financially, and sadly, sometimes leaves them with the unfortunate decision to surrender their pet, or in extreme cases, humanely euthanize their pet. During COVID, there was an increase in pet adoptions, which overwhelmed the veterinary industry, making routine surgeries for shelters like spay and neuter to take a backseat to the already homed pets. The location at 447 East Central Street is the ideal location for us to be able to help the community by easing some of the financial burden of veterinary surgery and help local shelters fulfill their state-mandated spay and neuter requirements. There will be no changes to the original structure to the building, nor will there be any negative impact to the environment, natural resources, habitat, or features. I am personally very invested in our climate's future and have an established relationship with the town's transfer station and services. All of the environmental impacts affected by veterinary medicine are offset with accounts we have already set up with hazardous waste, animal remains, and pharmaceutical use disposal. We will also be following all OSHA guidelines with regards to hazardous materials and drug storage. We have already procured an account with Stericycle, who will be offering OSHA training available to all of the staff. The location also provides plenty of parking spaces, as clients will be dropping off pets between the hours of 7 to 8 a.m. and a staggered pickup between 2 to 5 p.m. There will be no hospitalization or overnight boarding of pets. Drop-off will take about 5 minutes and pickup about 5 to 10 minutes. Our projected caseload will be between 15 to 20 patients per day, and this will be a mix of shelter with 1 carload of pets for spay-neuter and individual clients. We do not think there will be any impact in excessive traffic flow to the area. There will be 3 to 4 employees during the hours of operations. We understand that dogs can be vocal when entering an unknown area, and in veterinary clinics housing canines prior to surgery, there is the occasional barking. We will minimize this by situating cage space to prevent the patients from seeing each other, which will help not only with the anxiety for the patients, but aid in their natural need to vocalize. We will plan our day based on treating the most anxious patients first, barring any emergencies, by giving them the sedation required for their procedure, and then contacting the shelter or owner for first pickup. Love is Life Veterinary Clinic will not only maintain the character and integrity of the neighborhood, but also help boost local business by bringing more patrons and providing an option for community medicine in an area where there currently is none. Thank you all for taking time to learn more about our clinic and mission. Your involvement will undoubtedly allow families to keep their pets, save lives of pets without options for surgery, and reduce the overpopulation of homeless cats and dogs in the community. I look forward to answering your questions about our program and how we can further help the community.
All right, we can start out with a couple of things. Hours of operation?
We'll have drop-off between 7 and 8 a.m. and we'll be closed by pickup between 2 to 5, so then we'll have to do some cleaning probably till about 6.
7 to 7?
7 at the most, yeah.
Okay. And what's the number of the unit that you're gonna be in down there? You know, there's different
Number
units that
5.
go up, huh?
Number 5.
5, okay. Obviously, you're well aware of all the stuff that's gotta go on with waste and all that stuff. You know, you gotta dispose of it properly.
Yes, we
Yes.
do have accounts set up for, Dr. Paul is very familiar with our transfer station in town, and as well as we have accounts with a local crematorium for animal waste and anything for hazardous material waste as well.
And you said there's no boarding,
No more.
and the square footage of the space that you're leasing.
It's about 1,500 square feet.
Okay, I know somebody took the time to type this out, the criteria for the special permit. Who wants to read that off?
Were those the questions and answers?
Yeah.
Oh, I can read them.
Oh,
That's fine. I also have something to read, is that?
Okay.
Can I do both? Can I read both things?
Yeah, well, I don't know what else there was. Is there something else in here? These are these are
I
the
wrote my own speech.
Oh, there's-
Yeah.
I don't know that you're gonna need a speech. You might wanna forget about it. You might be in good standing before you give the speech.
Oh, okay. So would you like me to just go through the questions and read the answers that we wrote?
Yes. yeah.
Okay, great. So proposed project address or is consistent with neighborhood or town needed. It's 447 East Central Street, Franklin, Mass. is zone C2 commercial use. Love is Life Veterinary Clinic is a charitable nonprofit clinic that provides predominantly surgical and dental veterinary services to the underserved pets and owners of central New England for whom surgical care is the only treatment option. Our goals are to provide high-quality care to underserved clients and patients, prevent animals from being surrendered to shelters due to lack of owner resources, and prevent economic euthanasia. This is like our mission statement that Dr. Paul read at the beginning of
Yeah,
her
okay.
speech. Do you want me to continue reading?
No, you can just go to the ones that she didn't
Okay.
she didn't do.
Okay, great. It looks like number 2, vehicular traffic flow, access to parking and pedestrian safety are properly addressed. We did go through that, talking about the number of parking spaces. We didn't touch on that. There are a total of 30 parking spaces, and 20 of the 30 are accessible to us, including handicap accessible. Number 3, public roadway drainage, utilities, and other infrastructure are adequate or will be upgraded to accommodate development. There will not be any need for changes in infrastructure already in place as they're adequate for our needs. There will be no change to the space we're requesting to occupy. The neighborhood character and social structure will not be negatively impacted. There will be no negative impact to the social structure of the town. It will be an asset to the town. We are going to be serving the community, not only Franklin, but the surrounding towns, and will bring more patrons to the surrounding businesses. The project will not destroy or cause substantial damage to any environmentally significant natural resource, habitat, or features. If it will, proposed mitigation, remediation, replication, or compensatory measures are adequate. There will be no negative impact to the environment, natural resources, or features. We plan on having recycling services as part of our waste management program. Number 6, there will be no change to the existing building structure and will have no impact on the abutting properties. LILVC will take the necessary actions to control noise by the following. There was the part in Dr. Paul's speech that we talked about our methods of dealing with the noise from the barking of the dogs. And number 7, water consumption and sewer use, taking into consideration current and projected future local water supply and demand and wastewater treatment capacity will not be excessive. The water usage for LILVC will not impact the local water or the wastewater treatment capacity. Water used for equipment needed for LILVC will require distilled water, which will be purchased and not made in-house. The equipment that will require this will be an autoclave and a dental machine. Daily cleaning and use of a mop bucket for water per day and hand washing and instruments will be the extent of our water usage. We will be using accelerated hydrogen peroxide cleaning products, which are not only safe for the environment, but also pet safe.
Can you just identify yourself for the record, because we
Sure.
have a stenographer that'll...
Sorry about that. Katie Young, I'm secretary at Love is Life Veterinary Clinic.
Okay. There was no abutters. Megan, any questions or comments?
I have no concerns, and I think this sounds like a nice service.
Yeah. Archie?
Just to be clear, so it's a spay and neuter clinic only, or will you be doing dental work and?
Dental and surgical, so we're not going to do routine healthcare for pets. We won't have exam rooms, x-ray machines. We are just going to be a drop-off service only for surgical and dental things. So it's not just spay neuter. It'll be animals that say ate a sock and they can't afford to have it removed at another clinic, and they would have to be euthanized because of it, and they can come to us for low-cost surgery.
But they do eat socks. I had a dog that did that. They eat everything you possibly get. I have no further questions.
Okay. Now, I understand it's nonprofit, but can you just fill us in how the nonprofit works? I mean, do you work on donations? I'm sure that you must try to get some out of the customers, but is there a fund out there that funds these particular type of operations?
We are working on donations, and we will have a set charge for procedures, so not everything's going to be free. It's going to be a set cost for surgeries. If there might be owners that can't pay for anything, then we will use funds to help pay for those surgeries.
Okay, is there anybody online who wanted to speak on the vet clinic on East Central Street, 447? Seeing and hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing if we're all set. Everybody satisfied?
Second.
You seconded, you say it?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Motion made and seconded.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor of closing the public hearing, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, none. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to grant the special permit for unit number 5 of 447 East Central Street for Love is Life Veterinary Clinic to operate a nonprofit spay, neuter clinic and referral surgery center.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Yes, sir.
To you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Gus Brown, Building Commissioner, and dental. Can we throw that in there?
Well, extractions and surgical.
Surgical.
You know,
Same thing,
tooth extraction could be considered surgery. I know what they would, you know, what they presented, but that, you want us to put that in there?
I would like that.
Tooth extraction. In case you need a tooth pulled, you can run over and have it done. You accept that friendly amendment?
Yes, as shown in their application.
Okay.
Second.
Second. Okay, motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by...
Sorry,
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman. One more thing, and no overnight
No, they already said they were
I
on
know
the
they
board.
did, but can we
yeah.
get that in the decision as
Yeah,
well?
we'll put it in the decision.
Okay, thank
You
you.
don't have any problem with that, right? No overnight boarding?
Overnight.
Yeah, I got it marked down here, but I think we
Anything else?
talked about it. Anything else before we go?
I'm good.
Okay. You accept that friendly amendment?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, thank
Reluctantly,
you.
but I do.
All right. All right, let's vote on the amendment then, all to accept the two amendments that were put in by the building commissioner. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, no. Okay, now to grant a special permit for 447 East Central Street,
Unit number 5.
unit number 5, yeah.
To
Approximately
operate
1,500
nonprofit
square.
spay and neuter
Yeah,
clinic, referral surgical center that will perform tooth extraction with no overnight stays.
Boarded,
or
yeah.
board.
yeah. Okay. All right, any other discussion?
Thank you.
Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None. Thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Joe, see you.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's go back to the 740, evidently the other people.
You still on the phone with 740?
Yeah, did we get to make a connection?
I haven't seen her back out. Is she? Yeah, she is. Yeah.
What's her name again, Megan?
Yes, I am back.
Okay, Megan, thank you. All right, we can
I
see your name,
apologize.
we can see your name on the board anyway, so. All right, it's
right.
incumbent upon you to tell us what you want to do. I think you started by saying you wanted to put a one car or a 18 by 24 garage, as shown in the plan. 12 by 24, I'm
12
sorry.
foot by 24 attached garage on the left side of our home. And that leaves a 12.4 foot setback where 25 feet is required. Because of the shape of our lot, this addition isn't possible without relief from the setback requirements. This garage will allow us to reconfigure our home and make better use of our space for our growing family. And it's the most practical and financially feasible way for us to stay in Franklin. This will also improve our property, and it's consistent with other homes in the neighborhood. And we're asking for 12.6 feet of relief, and we believe that this will have minimal impact on the surrounding areas.
Okay, was there any abutters for 495 Pleasant Street, either in the house or online? Hearing none, I'll open it up to the board. Megan, any questions? Did we start? We didn't start with this, go ahead. Any questions?
Yeah, no, I can't think of any questions. This makes sense to me.
Okay. Archie?
Megan, correct me if I'm wrong, but to the right of your house is what, there's a lake there, there's a, tell me what you have over there on the right of your property.
The right side of the property is, I think it's a runoff drainage.
Yeah.
But there's a conservation land next to you, correct? There's no
Yeah.
house there.
There is.
Was that the old Delcott's?
Yeah.
Where they had their house and their
Yeah.
building out back?
Yes. So I guess my question is, why are we not putting this addition on the right side? It seems like you have more room there to do the work.
On the left side, because that just, if we were to do, it wouldn't be possible to add the garage on the right side of the home. We're adding it on the left side of the home because it would flow right into our kitchen. If we added it on the right side of the home, it would have to flow into the bedrooms. We'd have to do a major renovation, and that is just not within our budget.
Okay. The building here.
Yeah, there's plenty of room inside.
But then assessors map is not correct.
Yeah, it's not exactly correct. If that's the assessor's map, it's not exactly.
Thank you. I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right, one story, Megan, just a garage, no room on top?
That's right, just one story.
Okay. Yeah, any questions, John?
It looks fine to me, I don't have much questions. I do see how the roof looks like it's overlapping the left rear corner of the house. Is that just the roof itself pitched that way, or are you actually going into the home? Or is
What,
that a
on
deck?
the, with the addition?
Is there a deck that wraps around the side to the left side and can eliminate some of that?
There's no deck, that's just gonna be a side entryway to the garage.
Does anybody see what I'm saying?
Well, you talking about the deck in or the deck out? It looks like, Megan, does your deck currently wrap around the back of the house a little bit towards the front?
Oh, it does, yeah.
Okay,
So they're gonna eliminate?
yeah, they're gonna cut that out.
Yeah, okay, let's just do it.
So that's gonna go, yeah, that's going to go away.
Okay. All right,
Do they wanna leave an option to somehow, it might be an ADU upstairs, or they just want a single level?
well, they get ADU by right. Well, maybe they need a special permit because it'd be altering a non-conforming structure, but, right there, Mr. Building Commissioner? Go ahead, you want to say something?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Megan, it's Gus Brown, the Franklin Building Commissioner. We lose
You
it?
did?
Megan, you still there?
I lost.
Yes, I'm here,
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
the building
That's the
commissioner is
question.
asking you a question.
So the local
Okay,
surveyor,
it's not here.
so the local surveyor that prepared this for you did not call out that it's a water resource district that it's in and showed the coverage at 25%. So you don't have a maximum of 25%, you have a maximum of 15% coverage. So just have them correct that on the plot plan, and then the other thing is, and if you have any questions, you can call me tomorrow in the office, and I can explain it to
Okay.
you, or explain it to him. And then the second thing is you are putting in a circular driveway, so to speak? Or is that already there?
No,
Does your driveway already exist, Megan?
Yes, it already exists, there's
Yeah.
a circular driveway that's already there.
Yeah,
It's
it's already there.
Okay, that's it, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Megan.
I thought you were calling Megan over here before, that's why. But anyway, all right. Hearing no further questions, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and closed to close the hearing, close the hearing. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of closing the hearing, say aye. Aye. Who's voting, Joe or Megan?
Megan's.
Aye.
Megan's voting, yeah. Aye, all right. Entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to grant the variance for 495 Pleasant Street for Megan Marie Tucker to construct a 12-foot by 24-foot single-story attached garage that is going to be 12-foot, 4 feet, 12.4 feet from the left side setback in the relief of 12.6, 12.4 down to where 25 feet is required. As shown on a drawing dated February 25th, 2025 by O'Brien Land Surveyor, entitled Plan Showing Proposed Addition, 495 Pleasant Street, Franklin, Mass, Norfolk County.
With the understanding, Megan, that you're gonna get the engineer to change the impervious coverage to at least meet the 15% maximum lot coverage. I gotta say that's, looking at the size of the lot, that can't be more than 15%, right?
Correct.
You know, whatever. You understand that, Megan?
Yes, I do understand.
Okay, if you have any questions, Gus will be around tomorrow or Monday. You can give him a call, explain it, or have the engineer call him, and he'll explain it to him better, then you don't have to do it twice. But, anyway.
Be
Well,
happy to.
huh?
I'd be happy to explain it to the surveyor.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, with all that being said, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no, none. Thank you. Thanks, Megan, thanks for waiting. We still
Thank you.
got more. Yeah. Time being approximately 7:50 PM.
50 Constitution Boulevard, Delvin Contracting and Maintenance. Applicant is seeking to construct steel canopy structures to support solar photovoltaic modules that are 22 feet and 9 5/8 inches in height at the higher end where 15 feet is required. The building permit is denied without a variance from the ZBA.
Applicant present.
On Zoom, sir.
Okay, can you please identify yourself?
Matt Devlin, owner of Devlin Contracting and Maintenance. And I will also have Atlantic engineering on the call as well.
Okay, great. The, any abutters for 50 Constitution Boulevard? Don't see any, don't hear any. Okay, sir, please tell us what you want to do.
We would like to install a solar canopy at the Dell complex. It will be 6 carport canopy structures. The lowest point at 17.8 and the highest point at 22.8, which will allow fire trucks to get underneath this apparatus in case they have to get under there. So that's kind of the structure of the height is because of fire truck requirement. I can actually share what it'll look like. So the host is disabled.
What did you last say? What was that last comment?
If you'd like, I can share the drawing as well
Yeah,
on the
yeah, you
screen.
might as well go through it quick, yeah.
Just says host disabled, attendee screen sharing.
You should be all set to share your screen.
Should be all shut to share.
Perfect. Sorry, it's kind of blurry, I think, on your end. So this backside here will be 22 feet from the top to the ground level. And then the front here will be 17 feet from the ground level down. All water runoff will run into the existing drainage system that Dell has already have on campus. And we'll also be putting snow guards on as well to stop any type of snow runoff.
Matt, if I could jump in for 1 second, if you don't mind.
Yep, good.
My name is Zach Thomas from Atlantic Design Engineers, and I am also representing the project on behalf of Dell. And we're seeking relief from section 185-19 because the accessory, limitation of an accessory structure for carports is 15 feet max height. And the minimum height requirement for safety vehicles such as fire trucks or otherwise is 14 feet. So you have a 1 foot gap, which is infeasible. So that under that bylaw, there's no ability to actually adhere to it. So our goal here is to make sure that we meet the minimum height requirement to allow emergency vehicles to navigate throughout the property, which in essence makes the carports exceed the 15-foot height restriction under the bylaw.
You looking for another print, or you're all done?
No, I'm all done. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for letting us know.
Sorry.
Anyway, okay. Gus, this is a reasonable request on industrial property. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I just have one question for the proponents. Will Matt and, what's the other gentleman's name?
Zach Thomas.
Hi, Zach. Will you be covering any drainage structures at all with this canopy?
So we actually already went through Conservation Commission and we're pending planning board approval, which was only waiting on Conservation Commission approval. So we went through a review with Beta. All comments and concerns on their end were addressed to their satisfaction. And pending an approval for this variance, the last step is a meeting on the 28th with the planning board, just to review the Beta letter indicating that, you know, all of the comments and concerns that they had have been addressed in our design.
You didn't answer his question, though. You covering any manholes or any
We are not.
catch basins? Huh?
We are not. So to our knowledge, we are not.
That's all you had to say.
No further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right, any questions from the board? Joe?
Is this parking lot that's gonna be underneath these canopies going on an existing paved lot, or is this all new paving and new construction?
Existing paving.
my question wasn't about that, my question was, you have down here, the structures are at 70%, the structures plus paving at 80%. And I believe you can only do up to 80% of the uplands. And by looking at the plans, it looks like kind of a very strong plan to kind of touch those figures. But if the paving's already existing and you're not disrupting that, then I guess I don't have an issue. But if it's new paving going down, I'd like to see those calculations.
So in other words, you're not adding any more paving than currently exists?
Correct. The only paving that would happen would be around the bollards once we put the concrete bollards in.
Right, to repair the damage or to repair the asphalt that you dig up.
Correct.
Unless they're going in the grass strip or
It's
something.
gonna be a trench too, right?
Yeah, some will actually be in, some of them actually will be in the grass curbing that's there.
Yeah.
And then I believe there's only 2 rows that will actually be in pavement.
Okay, when you go up Constitution Boulevard off of King Street, you go up and you see the Dell facility. It's the building on the left, correct? The manufacturing plant?
Correct.
Okay, and it's the parking lot past the plant going up the hill a little bit further, up on the left-hand side of the road.
It's the one that's adjacent to the old soccer field that the town used to use.
I don't know, unfortunately, I never played soccer up there, so I wouldn't know.
Softball, there was a softball field there too.
Teach them how to drive.
But they own another building across the street, or they did at one time. It was like behind the fire station. You're not on that side of the street, you're on the left-hand side, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Any questions, Megan?
No questions from me, Mr. Chairman.
You all set, Arch?
I'm all set.
All right. Entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to close the public hearing. Any discussion? You know, you didn't talk about the variance criteria. You didn't give us the, what is it, 6 or 7 questions that go with the variance criteria? You never filled it out, so I don't know, maybe you know, maybe you did on a separate piece of paper, I don't know. As much as I want to go home. Oh, they did fill part of it out. Somebody want to read those off? Somebody from the applicant side?
Zach, do you have that handy?
I believe that is, I looked at the application that was accessible earlier today online, that I believe you guys have, and Atlantic Design did address the ZBA. I believe it was page 3 and/or 4.
Excuse me, who are you? We need you
I'm sorry.
to identify yourself for the record, please.
I'm sorry, Karen Robichaud. I work for Devlin Contracting. I'm in charge of permitting.
Okay, did you fill this out?
Yes, in conjunction with Atlantic Design.
Okay, then you wouldn't have any problem reading it off for us, right?
I'm not very Zoom literate,
You
so.
don't have to be, you don't have to show us anything, just read it off. Take for each question as its own, and then just give us what you put down for an answer. Pretty simple.
Okay, let me pull it up.
You thought it was all done.
Bear with me, I'm just going to the files to try to find my copy of it. Okay, I have, what I was referring to, and I hope it's what you're looking for, is answers to your page that's titled ZBA application form supporting statement for a variance.
Correct.
Okay,
Good guess.
I have it. Do you want me to, do you
Just
want me to
read the
whole
question,
thing?
just read the question quick and then give us the answer that you wrote. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them?
It goes A, B, C.
Yeah.
It starts with a literal
Well, that's why I count that as
enforcement.
1, 2, 3, and then number 2 would be
Okay.
1 and 2.
Understood. Okay, a literal enforcement of the provisions of this zoning bylaw would involve a substantial hardship, financial or otherwise, to the petitioner or appellant for the following reasons. The applicant is seeking a variance per section 185-19E3 of the Town of Franklin zoning bylaw. A literal enforcement of the 15-foot height restriction would create a substantial hardship for the petitioner by preventing the proposed solar canopy carport system from achieving its intended functionality and energy production goals while providing adequate access for emergency vehicles. To ensure safe clearance for fire and emergency apparatus, sufficient clearance would not be feasible under the 15-foot height restriction when accounting for necessary structural support, purlins, panels, and tilt angle. Number 2. The hardship is owing to the following circumstances related to the soil condition, shape, or topography of such land or structures, and especially affecting such land or structures, but not affecting generally the owning district in which it is located for the following reasons. The hardship is due to the unique conditions of the site, including the need to accommodate existing parking layouts and maintain adequate clearance for emergency vehicles. The proposed solar canopy must be elevated to a height that allows for safe vehicle circulation, including fire and safety apparatus as detailed above. The subject property is located within an industrial park, industrial zoning district, and does not abut residential properties. The project is proposed to be located over previously disturbed area, parking lot, and no tree clearing is proposed. Desirable relief may be granted without either, 1, substantial detriment to the public good for the following reasons. Granting the requested height variance will not cause substantial detriment to the public good, as the proposed solar canopy carport system is designed to enhance sustainability, provide weather protection for parked vehicles while allowing for adequate access in case of an emergency within an industrial zoning district. The increased height ensures proper clearance for emergency vehicles, improving public safety without negatively impacting neighboring properties. Per the zoning bylaw, the proposed solar canopy carport system meets the building height requirements for the industrial district, nullifying or substantially derogating from the intent or purpose of this zoning bylaw for the following reasons. Our answer: granting this variance does not substantially derogate from the intent of the Town of Franklin zoning bylaw, which aims to promote public safety, welfare, and sustainable development. The proposed solar canopy supports these goals by ensuring proper emergency vehicle clearance, enhancing renewable energy generation, and reducing environmental impact. The increased height is a functional necessity to provide safe access and aligns with the bylaw's purpose of fostering responsible growth while maintaining public safety and sustainable development.
Thank you. Anything else anybody want to add from the applicant side? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion from the board.
Question to the chair.
Sure.
By putting these canopies up, are we eliminating any islands with trees in the islands around the?
I think they
or is
said
it
they
just
weren't-
one big park and flat lot?
I think they didn't, they said they weren't taking any trees down. No trees coming out with any of this, is it? It's just all parking lot? You're gonna put these over?
There's five trees in that site that will be replanted on the property.
Okay.
Okay with that.
Yeah.
But there's no clearing, it's not like a forest that's being cleared, it's already a.
No, it's a parking lot. He was just wondering, sometimes, he used to be on the planning board, they'd make you put trees, but that, you were before them, or EMC was before them, but, before his time on the board, so they probably didn't make him plant any trees in there, but, anyway. But, okay, all that being said, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'll entertain a motion.
Okay. So Chair, I'd like to make a motion to grant the variance for 50 Constitution Boulevard for Devlin Contracting and Maintenance to construct a steel canopy structure or several steel canopy structures to support solar PV modules that are 22 feet, 9 5/8 in height, On the higher end, 15 feet. On the lower end, 15 feet is required, so we'd be giving them relief of 7 foot 9 5/8.
Why don't you make it an even number?
So we'll give a relief of 7 foot 10 inches.
I was thinking more like 8 feet.
We'll give them relief of 8 feet. Allow them, I guess, to go up to whatever that is, 8 feet above that. Be,
8 feet above 15 is 23 feet.
The building permit, well, just approving the variance. As shown
Yeah, I don't know, take a plan.
on a drawing.
What's the
By
top?
Atlantic Design Engineering.
Yeah, but the top, it's got the name, open it up.
Site development and plans for the canopy and ground mount structure located at Del Campus, 50 Constitution Boulevard, Franklin, Massachusetts, dated February 6, 2025, with a revision date of March 25th, 2025.
Now, Devlin Contracting is representing EM's, Dell on this, correct? They own the property now?
Correct.
Okay, so we're just gonna change, we're not gonna change it, we're just gonna add to the applicant a thing that says Devlin Contracting and Maintenance for Dell. What do they go by, Dell Inc. or Dell something else or what?
I think it's just Dell Technologies.
Dell Technologies, okay. Get that, Casey? Okay. All right, motion made. Who's voting, you, huh? I think you already called the vote once, yeah, when we close it. So you're a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? No, there is none, I mean. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, we got one more thing. Approval of the March 27th meeting minutes. If we've read them over, we'll have a vote on them. Everybody's been provided a copy, either electronically or in your packet time.
Everybody's had a chance to read the minutes?
I've had them read. I actually got one change we gotta make in it.
Would you like to make that change, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman?
on page 6, first paragraph where it says June 5th or 4th of 2025, it should say 2024 because that's when the town council meeting was held. That's the one I referenced that I watched the meeting that night to see how the vote went. So, anyway, with that being said, motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of Thursday, March 27, 2025, with the revision you just called out on page 6.
You weren't there, right, that night? Were you there?
I recused myself.
Oh, yeah, you couldn't,
Yeah.
Joe, yeah,
Yeah, I
I
was
knew
there.
somebody wasn't here.
Megan was there.
Yeah, Megan was here.
Yeah, I was present. Seconded.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, none. Hang on, Chris. And motion to adjourn.
Second.
So moved.
Yeah, everybody's in agreement. Motion made and seconded to adjourn, non-debatable. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Good night,